There is no magic cure for a stammer, but there are ways of controlling it. At the UK's largest centre for stammering children, they are dedicated to developing these techniques.
I've never been able to talk about my father's stammer with him. It was just something that was like a curse that we couldn't really talk about. If you talked about it, it was just rubbing salt in the wounds. And here were people saying we're actually going to try and help children, like my dad.
We run these courses. They run for 2 weeks, and we have 6 children and their parents come, and they come from all over the country.
William stammering, and he needs to go to the Michael Palin Centre.
And how are you feeling about going on this course?
Excited.
Reggie, William, Bethan and their parents are all travelling to London. After years of frustration, this course is often seen as the last chance for families to help their child's speech improve.
I think a lot of them are at their wits' end. You know, stammering is something a lot of young children go out of, and for many years the parents will have their fingers crossed thinking, you know, 4 out of 5 children grow out of this, hopefully my child's going to be in that statistic. But by the time they get to the sort of late primary school years, the likelihood has diminished a lot in terms of it just naturally going away.
Where's it all going to end? It's a severe stammer. And he's got secondary school, which is a big jump. You know, is he going to be like throwing him to the lions?
Till you've lived closely with that, you can never appreciate how it dictates someone's life and the people around them.
And we have a lot of hopes on this course because we just don't know where to go after that.
We really appreciate the fact that you're all here in such good time. What we're going to do is leave the children in here now, and we're going to take the parents through to the other side.
It isn't just the kids who are starting therapy. The parents are too. In separate rooms, both the parents and children begin to open up about their fears and frustrations. It's not just about fluency. The course is designed to get to the heart of the difficult emotions that accompany the condition. It's time for everyone to face the stammer, head on.
Welcome everybody to our group. We're going to have loads of fun. You all do have a stammer, that's why you're here, and this is a place where it's okay to stammer, where it actually really doesn't matter at all.
What we're going to do now is have a little bit of discussion time about why we involve parents, about why you think you're here.
There's always a certain amount of anxiety when you start on a course like that, and particularly those group environments when everybody's got to get involved. And I remember my head dropped and I was thinking, oh, you've got to talk to the person next to you and find out 3 things. And I'm thinking, oh God, you know. And I'm thinking, oh no, here we go, have we got 2 weeks of this?
I think we really need to go back to basics. I don't think you could envisage what is involved in that unless both parents are here.
So what did you think, Paul, when they said to you initially, you're both coming?
Well, happy, because, you know, I thought, brilliant, William needs this opportunity. You're shaking your head.
Because you went, what do I have to come for?
Oh, no. Let me finish. I said,
both of us?
Yeah, well, no, 100%. And I said, you know, my initial thought was brilliant for Wills, and I just thought, wow, you know, what am I going to be doing now? I presume we're going to be standing at the back of the classroom watching them. You know, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how boring is this going to be?
I'm not sure whether this is true or not, but I think it makes you examine the interaction between each other and how that affects the environment your child is in.
You're not here because you've done something or are doing something that is unhelpful. It's not about your styles of parenting and things like that. The parents can't cause stammering.
Of course you worry that it's your fault. There's a certain amount of guilt about we didn't do enough at the beginning, and if we had nipped it in the bud, maybe he wouldn't be as bad now.
When he was quite young, I used to think, maybe we've made this happen, you know.
We thought, we shouldn't have surrounded her with cotton wool and looked after her so much. We should have allowed her to practice more with children of her age, and then perhaps it wouldn't have been as hard.
If you think back, there were some other things said to us which now we now know are daft, but things like he didn't eat the right food.
I remember I asked my mother about it, and she just said, she came out with this wonderful line, which I've never forgotten. She said, "Oh yes, a maid jumped out on him when he was very young." I mean, you know, whatever that meant, whatever dark euphemisms were there, I just don't know. But that was all I was ever told in terms of the cause of his stammer.
There are myths out there that don't get dispelled. And unfortunately, something like the King's Speech, you know, the myth that was perpetuated by that film was something about King George VI's stammer being linked to his experiences as a child. And, you know, that's not factual. That's not what we know from the research that's happening. You know, we know it's something to do with the brain function and the wiring in the brain. It's not about your styles of parenting and things like that.
New research shows that some children are born with a genetic vulnerability to stammer. This can also be exacerbated by the child's emotional state and their environment. This is why the whole family is involved. Parents may not be the direct cause, but they can be part of the solution.
Do any of you get a bit nervous if you think you're going to stammer? Does that ever happen?
Throat and chest gets quite tense. I'm a bit like stressed and frustrated. It makes me feel a bit angry.
By lunchtime, it's already clear that some children are finding it harder to join in than others.
Have you had a good morning, Reg? Doesn't want to mix with anybody. He won't join in. Yeah, he's just on the outside all the time. Look at him.
Stammering is very overtly something that's happening with the mouth. But it has a knock-on effect on their total communication, but also on their participation in life very often.
All right?
Yep.
Good boy. Proud of you.
And that's a large part, I think, of the problem of stammering. You get inhibited, you lose confidence. It's the feeling you're on your own, lonely. And of course, it's not a problem just for children. It's a problem for all the family. Everyone has to relate to it in some way. You know, and I think about my father, poor guy, had a stammer. But my mother, you know, all her life married to this man who couldn't always say what he wanted to say, going at a different pace from everybody else.
I don't remember having sat down with him and had a good old chat about whatever. I just don't remember it. His childhood would be over and we'd never really engage him as much as we wanted him to. I'd have wanted him to just join in and get to know him, and I know it sounds ridiculous, like a father to a son.
For some of these children, they will be going a bit quieter on their parents naturally, but throw the stammer into the mix. I mean, a lot of us don't know what's going on in our kids' heads, but for these parents, there's an extra layer to that.
He'll always take himself off. He likes to be on his own. If he's not on the computer, he'll be up in his room reading a book. He really likes to kind of keep away.
Sometimes it's difficult to get him out of that world.
I've got three of many here. This is a Spinosaurus. This is an Edmontosaurus. Tyrannosaurus. This is a T-Rex.
So tell me, Reggie, how do you know so much about dinosaurs?
Because of all of them books over there.
Do you like reading?
Yeah, well, I love reading.
He's got such a lot to say. He really has. He's so intelligent, and when you do have a conversation with him, he blows you away. You know, but it takes so long for him to do it because he doesn't have the tools to be able to tell people. And that's what's really frustrating.